Hello, friends, and welcome into the Cowboys Report presented by Manscaped. You can head over to manscaped.com/chat and save 20% and get free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products. As we promised, today is the fan-led mock draft day. Before we get to the options at pick number 10, get your votes in right now. Who do you guys want the Dallas Cowboys to draft in round one? Now, this does not count for the fan-led portion. We'll break that down here in a minute or two. Want to make sure everyone has a chance live on YouTube and live on Facebook to get their votes in for the team's first-round pick. And we got a twist this year that we'll get to in a second. But get your votes in. Who do you want the Cowboys to draft? I see a lot of either Patrick Surtain or Jaycee Horn. A couple Kyle Pitts are in there. I see one Penei Sewell, but a good 80% of these are either Patrick Surtain or Jaycee Horn. So cornerback, not surprisingly so, is the focal point there for the Dallas Cowboys when it comes to the round one. Now, in the past, we've never had trades. Maybe that changes this time around. We'll see. Before we get there, these were the 5 picks before the Cowboys came on the clock at round 1, pick number 10. Now, the exact player, team fits is kind of interesting, but regardless, it's fairly realistic. Penei Sewell, Kyle Pitts, Jalen Waddle, Patrick Surtain, and of course the 3 quarterbacks before that are all off the board. So there's no Patrick Surtain available for the Cowboys at number 10. That was the plurality of the vote as we looked. So for the first time ever in any of the Chat Sports fan-led mock drafts, we're going to allow you guys the chance to accept a trade offer on the PFN mock draft simulator. The Arizona Cardinals have picked up the phone, and they are offering a first and a second round pick in exchange for a first and a fourth rounder to move up to the number 10 spot. So the Cowboys would trade down to number 16. So remember, there's no Patrick Surtain on the board. So get your votes. This is the first option for you guys on the fan-led mock draft. Do you want to trade down? Y for yes, N for no. We'll leave this up for a little bit here and let the proprietary data scraper here at Chat Sports get the YouTube comments and the Facebook comments all combined. Remember, no Patrick Surtain on the board. The likes of Micah Parsons, Jaycee Horn, Rashawn Slater, they are still there. But you also got to wonder who the Cardinals are coming up for. Are they coming up for Devonta Smith, or are they coming up for Jaycee Horn? Both players fill a need. Arizona didn't tell us who they were taking. So we don't know exactly here what the path is going to be. So get your votes in. Y for yes, you want to trade down. N for no, you don't. Keep those votes coming. And as a reminder, you guys can vote multiple times. The way our data scraper works, it does not sort by individual players, or individual users. So Y for yes, N for no. If you want yes, you can vote 50 times if you want, and you can overvote there. You can spread it as much as you want. What was that? We got executive producer Brett is running the sim here for us here behind the scenes. Is the vote in? Yeah, no, you guys have rejected the trade. So good experiment to do there. So the Cowboys are going to stick on the clock, round 1, pick number 10. These are 5 of the best guys available. So get your votes in who you guys want. If you want Rashawn Slater, type in 1. If you want Jaycee Horn, type in 2. If you want Christian Darrisaw, type in 3. Micah Parsons, type in 4. Devonta Smith, type in 5. Once again, we will give you guys some time to get your votes in here. Again, unlimited votes. You can vote as many times as you want, and each vote still counts as 1. You can spam it and flood the ballot box, if you will. It's democracy or whatever. So Rashawn Slater, Jaycee Horn. Those are the 2 names that make the most sense to me. 1 for Slater, 2 for Jaycee Horn. Get your votes in right now. 1 or 2. Or 3 if you want Christian Darrisaw. If you vote 4 for Micah Parsons, you break my heart. 5 for Devonta Smith if you want to go that route as well. So keep those votes coming. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which route do you want to go if you are the Dallas Cowboys? Remember, Patrick Surtain, not on the board. He's not available. He's gone. He went earlier. So the Cowboys, as a result, could not take the Alabama cornerback, excuse me. I see a lot of 2s in there. I see them. Even if they're getting hidden briefly by YouTube, I see all of them on our end, and the data scraper pulls them. So keep it coming. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pick in. Vote. Pick is in. Jaycee Horn has been taken here by the Cowboys. Round 1, pick number 10. Now, we're going to do every single pick the Cowboys have this year. So if you didn't like that one, you can maybe get things corrected later on in a little bit. So we'll get to round 2 later on. We got to let the simulator run its course, see who's available, blah, blah, blah. But Jaycee Horn was the pick by the Cowboys at number 10 in round 1. Now, we'll come back to it. In the meantime, keep voting in the comment section for us here. How about drafting a quarterback? We'll give you the possibility, probably on day 3, for the Cowboys to take somebody. Do you want to? Type 1 for yes or type in 0 for no. Do you believe the Cowboys will draft a quarterback in this year's 2021 NFL draft process? 1 for yes, 0 for no. I see a couple 1s coming in, a handful of 0s too. I'll give my thoughts here more in depth later on during the show because I'm open to it. Got to be the right guy, and there aren't that many of those guys in this year's draft. A common question we get during our mailbags, which we will also have on today's show, well, it's trading Michael Gallup, drafting a receiver in the fan-led mock draft. You guys had Devonta Smith there. You didn't even come close to taking him. So if you could pick one of these guys to be your wide receiver 3, in quotes, DS for Devonta Smith, JC for Jamar Chase, JW for Jalen Waddle, or MG for Michael Gallup. Pick a receiver for me here. DS, JC, JW, or MG. Which one would you want to have as your wide receiver 3? Remember, if you take one of the draft picks, you probably got to trade away Gallup, and hopefully you get somebody else on your team defensively here. But get your votes in. DS, JC, JW, or MG. I see a pretty good amount of Michael Gallups, and I got to be honest, that one makes plenty of sense to me. I did want to mention the rule change coming to the NFL in which the jersey numbers have more freedom and flexibility. Linebackers and edge rushers can wear lesser numbers in terms of like lower digit ones. Running backs, receivers can wear single digit ones as well. And Tom Brady did not like. He is not a fan of this because he says, well, this is going to make it tough to block the right players. This is going to make for a lot of bad football. I got thoughts on this, but first off, I want you guys to vote. Do you like this? A for yes, or if you dislike this jersey rule number change, type B for you're a boomer. Because this is an ultimate boomer take by Tom Brady. And I get it, he's the GOAT, blah, 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 brilliant football mind. Are you really trying to tell me that having the jersey number changes is suddenly going to make it more difficult to block opposing players? College guys do it fine. You're Tom friggin' Brady. What's going to happen? The coach, the lineman's going to go, oh, sorry, I tackled our quarterback, coach. I saw number 4 on the opposite side at linebacker, and I got confused and tackled the wrong guy. What? You're telling me that the offensive guard is like, I didn't pick up the blitzer because he was wearing 20 and I thought he was a cornerback. How dumb does Tom Brady think his teammates are? Because that's the way I would interpret it. Oh, you don't think I know how to block? It's not that hard to pick up the blitzer. You're a smart person. You should be able to figure it out. If you don't like the jersey rule change because you're worried it's going to be too hard to figure out who the defenders are, you're a boomer. You just don't like change, plain and simple. And I appreciate people, by the way, who are typing in B and freely acknowledging that they are a boomer. It's very, very bold of you. I appreciate that. Let's also talk NFL draft. It is exactly 1 week away. I am very excited about it, as I always am. So will you guys watch the NFL draft? Type Y for yes or type in N for no. Now, we will be live on the Chat Sports YouTube channel, not just for round 1 and day 2. For every single pick, we'll be live before the draft gets going, and we'll also have grades afterward. So if you're like me and you just love the NFL draft and you're not already, which is kind of weird, subscribe to our Chat Sports YouTube channel. It is at youtube.com/chatsportstv, right there, bottom of your screen. Link is also in the description as well. That way, you'll have every pick that we break down. We'll be live for the entirety of it. No, by the way, we'll get a lot of the picks before the major networks do. So if you want to know who the Cowboys pick first, go subscribe. youtube.com/chatsportstv. We're going to get to the second round pick of the fan-led mock draft here in just a second. But if you guys want to chat NFL draft with me, hit me up on Twitter at @WhatGoingDowney. My DMs, by the way, are open, which sometimes, not that often, but every now and then I end up regretting because it gets kind of weird. But hit me up on Twitter at @WhatGoingDowney for any and all Cowboys NFL draft coverage questions that you guys have, because I'm working in overdrive here at the current moment to get everything done in time for the NFL draft just 1 week away. So help me out. Go follow me on Twitter at @WhatGoingDowney. You can also get your votes in here. Are you guys subscribed? Most of you should be. Type Y for yes you are, or type in L for you're not because you are lame, and that's okay. It happens sometimes. Most of you guys should be spamming yeses. I would be surprised for anyone here if you guys type in L for lame, but if so, you guys can change it. Just hit that big red button and subscribe. That is all you guys have to do. So Y for yes, L for lame. Hit that big red button. It's youtube.com/Cowboys TV. All of you guys should be subscribed. I would be hurt if you were not, but hey, everyone for everyone. All right, let's get to round 2 then of the fan-led mock draft. There are some painful picks that just went down. Tevin Jenkins fell substantially. Seattle looks like jumped up to go get him. Interesting. The Bills jumped up to get Terrace Marshall. 2 players who are noteworthy. Levi Onwuzurike, and one that I know is going to hurt a lot of you guys, Richie Grant. And Trevon Merrick is long gone at this point, by the way. So the top 2 safeties are both off the board. Richie Grant, the safety from Central Florida. Trevon Merrick is off the board. I would have jumped over Tevin Jenkins sliding down. That's a surprise there. Seattle jumped you guys, though. So those are the previous 5 picks. So for round 2, here are the players, notable ones, the top guys. Again, big credits to producer Brett for getting all this done for us behind the scenes. Here are the top guys on the board: Baron Browning, Carlos Basham, Dylan Radins, Jabril Cox, and Aleem McNeil. So get your votes in for who you guys want to take. Do you want Baron Browning? Type in A. Do you want Carlos Boogie Basham, an edge rusher who can kick inside out of Wake Forest? Type in B. Do you want offensive tackle Dylan Radins, possibly a Tyron Smith replacement? Type in C. Do you want linebacker Jabril Cox? Good in coverage. Type in D. Do you want the fatty only Aleem McNeil? Type in F. If I were in charge, and I am not, it's up to you guys, Carlos Basham would be my selection here. I'd get an edge rusher who I can kick inside on passing downs as well. The safeties are gone. It breaks my heart. I would go Boogie Basham here, though, in the end. So keep your votes coming. A, B, C, D, or F. I'm being told, according to executive producer Brett, my apologies there, boss man, that it's close right now. Who's it close between? It is apparently close between Boogie Basham and Jabril Cox. A little bit of Aleem McNeil in there as well. So if you want to get some changes in there, if you want to flip your vote, do it right now. Again, you can vote an unlimited amount of times. So keep them coming. A for Baron Browning, B for Carlos Basham, C for Dylan Radins, D for Jabril Cox, or F for Aleem McNeil. Spam your votes here. A, B, C, D, or F. So get your votes in there for round 2 of this fan-led mock draft. It's very close. We're still allowing some picks to flow in here in terms of who you guys want to take in round 2. Is it in? We got it in. All right, the pick is in. Boogie Basham is the selection in round 2 by the Dallas Cowboys. So it's just my opinion. We're letting you guys make all the picks here. But of the 5 guys on the board, that's who I would have taken as well because I like Basham a lot. I think he's a good fit for the Cowboys. So Jaycee Horn in round 1, Carlos Basham in round 2, and I'll let you guys know this as well. I think that's a very real possible outcome for the Cowboys in the actual NFL draft. We will get to round 3 in a little bit, but that's not all we're doing on today's show. We've got Cowboys rumors and some news items as well, a Dallas Cowboys mailbag on top of that, and a fan-led mock draft that's already going on right now. It is underway as we speak. So Cowboys rumors and news, 2 mailbags. Actually, it could be several mailbags when it's all said and done. So you guys should know the drill by now. Use hashtag Cowboys or Super Chat. And then we will continue along with our fan-led mock draft as well. That's all coming up here on the Dallas Cowboys Report. The Dallas Cowboys Report is presented by Manscaped. When you head over to manscaped.com/chat, you will get 20% off and free shipping on all of their fantastic men's grooming products, including the Perfect Package. Comes with the Lawnmower 3.0, comes with boxers, a traveling case, ball toner, ball conditioner, all great stuff as well. So go check them out at manscaped.com/chat. Again, that link, which will be both in the comment section and in the description, will save you 20% and free shipping. Let's start with news here. Antoine Woods has officially re-signed. Now, this isn't like the biggest shocking news, but I did want to make note of it since Adam Schefter tweeted it out. This is a re-signing. As I understand it, this is just Antoine Woods signing his restricted free agency tender. That's what this is. This is a 1-year deal for Antoine Woods at the right of first refusal cost. That's a little over $2.18 million for this upcoming season. This appears to just be Woods officially signing that tender, fully locking him into the Cowboys roster, at least for the time being, since there's no guaranteed money on it. Woods for the Cowboys has been a good enough run stopper. On a team that does not have very many of them, it helps. There are not a lot of reliable run-clogging defensive linemen on this team. I still am going to project Antoine Woods, as we enter the NFL draft at least, as a starter for this team. Neville Gallimore, Tristan Hill will rotate as well, mostly at the 3-technique spot. Brett Urban has some inside-outside flexibility, so I like that from the Cowboys' perspective. It's a obvious move in the end, because letting Antoine Woods go never really made sense to me whatsoever. So if you agree with me, and you like the Cowboys are keeping Antoine Woods, I want you guys to like today's video. It is that simple. We're not even at 100 likes on the live video for today. But if you like keeping Antoine Woods, like it right now. Let's chat once again on the Cowboys and Kyle Pitts and what's going on this front here. There's a lot to break down. So it's still just the 1-star. But I bring this up today because, well, the Cowboys themselves brought it up. Now, last year, there were multiple times in which they sent out a video breaking down at least part of their pre-draft interview with a prospect. Well, they finally did one late Wednesday night, and it was on Kyle Pitts, in which Jerry Jones fawned over the idea of getting Kyle Pitts on the Cowboys and all of those good things, and I understand that there. It's still just the 1-star. I don't consider it very likely for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Pitts is a great player. Don't get me wrong on that one. He is an awesome football player who offers a ton of ability. He's a dynamic weapon. In the end, I'm not going to complain about doing this. It is noteworthy that this is the only prospect the Cowboys, at least as we film this, have done this for. They have not put out any of the other prospect interview Zoom clips like they did last year. Now, there's a couple reasons why I think the Cowboys felt okay doing this. A, Everybody knows the Cowboys love Kyle Pitts because every team loves Kyle Pitts. Like, that's not new information. We've known that. Kyle Pitts has said that he talked with the Cowboys already. Jerry Jones apparently told Mort that he did it, and then Stephen Jones confirmed it as well. They're also okay doing this because it's highly unlikely that he's on the board. Kyle Pitts is probably going to go, if not number 4, probably going to go even earlier. So from that perspective, like, it makes sense to me that the Dallas Cowboys are going to, look at Kyle Pitts. Like, that's something that they're going to do. It is highly unlikely in the end that he is not on the board. So I know many of you want Kyle Pitts. I know many of you do. Not going to get my hopes up for him being there. Now, what was also interesting was that part of the clip that the Cowboys sent out was when they asked, asked Kyle Pitts, hey, who was the toughest player that you went up against? Who was it? And he answered Jaycee Horn. And I firmly believe that Jaycee Horn is very much in play at number 10 overall for the Dallas Cowboys. In fact, I think there is a chance that both corners, Horn and Surtain, are in play for the Cowboys. I don't know which one they would take. That is still, I guess, left to be determined, and I guess we'll know for certain during the actual NFL draft. But the Cowboys putting out the whole Jaycee Horn thing, I think they were being very careful with what they put out there on that video. It's at least worth mentioning and worth discussing on that front in terms of the conversation and mentioning of Jaycee Horn as part of that Kyle Pitts video that went out. So very curious to me. The timing is interesting. The message behind it, it's all fascinating, and at some level probably a bit of gamesmanship as well for the Dallas Cowboys. So as it relates to pick number 10, get your votes in for me. Who do you want the Dallas Cowboys to draft? Do you want Kyle Pitts? Do you want Patrick Surtain? Do you want Jaycee Horn? Do you want somebody else altogether? Who are you hoping and praying and pining after for the Dallas Cowboys as it relates in round 1 of the NFL Draft? As mentioned, today's show is made possible by Manscaped. When you go to manscaped.com/chat, that link right there, bottom of your screen, you'll get 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products, including the Lawnmower 3.0, right? It's the #1 men's grooming tool out there. If you get the perfect package, though, you'll get a couple of extra goodies as well, including the most comfortable boxers known to man. I hate how most boxers ride awkwardly. Like, they just don't quite fit right. They bunch up too much or bunch up not enough. It's never quite right. Not an issue, though, with Manscaped. So go get yours today at manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products. Let's get to round 3 of the fan-led mock draft. Same deal, folks. Spam your votes in the comment section. Producer Brett's going to tell me something, so you might hear his voice in terms of who recently went off the board. Hamza Nasir-Dean off the board, 3 picks prior, a box safety. That's brutal. Liam Eichenberg just went about 10 picks before, so that takes off a tackle. Ooh, Javon Holland off the board in round 3. I got a guy that I love on this board here. Before I give you my vote, although I think I can tell who's going to win early here, there's Milton Williams, the kind of defensive end, defensive tackle hybrid from Louisiana Tech. You can type in MW for him. There's Elijah Molden, the nickel corner, who could maybe play some free safety at Washington. There's Nick Bolton, the linebacker from Missouri. Amon-Ra St. Brown, the receiver from USC. Yes, that is Equanimous St. Brown's brother. And then Tommy Togiai out of Ohio State. I have a vote here. I'm going Nick Bolton. Like, you know what? We're gonna call this one early. Nick Bolton's the pick here in round 3, pick number 75. I would consider him strongly at pick number 44. I know he did not test well, but this guy can be my long-term starter at middle linebacker. So I don't know if in real life, if Bolton's going to fall to pick 75, that'd be asking quite a bit, I think. But weird stuff happens in the NFL draft. Fun stuff ends up happening as well. So Nick Bolton, the pick there in round 3. We'll get to the other third-round pick here in just a little bit. Let's talk NFL draft now on the Cowboys Report. How about landing Christian Barmore in the second round? I'm going to give this one 1 star. Now, it was part of, by the way, a 3-round mock draft from ESPN's Mel Kiper / Todd McShay. So I'm going to focus on Barmore, but I do want to discuss the entirety of this mock draft. So this was the ESPN Cowboys mock draft tag team picks between Mel Kiper and Todd McShay. Patrick Surtain went number 10 overall. Christian Barmore was there in round 2. Walker Little was the pick in round 3. Jamar Johnson was the pick at the back end of round 3. Now, I do want to discuss, by the way, mostly Christian Barmore. We'll talk about all the guys here, but you guys know Surtain. We don't need to spend any time on him. Everyone knows him who's a Cowboys fan. The idea of Barmore, though, in the second round was rather intriguing. And I gave it the 1 star because I don't find it likely. I would be surprised if Christian Barmore fell to the Cowboys in round 2. In a very, very bad defensive line class, I believe that Christian Barmore is the best one this year. That's what I think he is. The production shows the flashes of what he's able to do. It absolutely does. 9.5 tackles for loss, 8 sacks. As it relates to pass rushers, he's one of the better ones on the interior. Now, there are some red flags as it relates to his game. Consistency is still not a major thing. But if you could slot him in at the 3 technique spot and give him the opportunity to probably start over both Neville Gallimore and Tristan Hill. Relative to where I had them graded coming out, Barmore would be my preferred of those 3 guys. The biggest red flag for Barmore, especially for the Cowboys, and even though this pick was actually made by McShay, and he mentioned run defense, that is not Christian Barmore's game. And you don't have to believe me. You can ask Nick Saban if he's going to be honest with you, because the way he used Barmore was not that often in terms of actually being on the field on rundowns. Less than half of the run snaps, Barmore was not out there. He was a rotational pass rusher, not a run stopper. Now, he has the size to be one, but he hasn't shown it quite yet. Maybe that's the path in which teams go, yeah, we don't want him in the top 45, and he's there at pick number 44. So what do you guys think is the percent chance that Christian Barmore falls to the number 44 pick? Is it 5%? I'd probably give it somewhere around there. Or is it even higher? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Now, of course, Surtain went round 1. Duh, you guys know him. I don't need to spend any time on that. Back-to-back picks here by Mel Kiper in the 3rd round. There was Walker Little and then Jamar Johnson. Let's start with Walker Little, who I will always tell you guys how I feel. Sometimes I'm right, sometimes I'm wrong. This is early for me on Walker Little. I have a 4th round grade on him, and it's because of that note you see on screen. 1 game played in his last 2 years. I get he's got the size, the athletic ability. Was it a highly, highly touted recruit? He wasn't great as a true freshman, obviously. And the 1 game he played back in 2019 was good against Northwestern, but he hasn't played since. That is a massive amount of time to not play football. Now, I think sitting in behind Tyron Smith would be a good spot for him. I think the Cowboys in general are a good fit. I wonder if I go with a different offensive tackle in the end. Then there's Jamar Johnson, the safety from Indiana. If the Cowboys take a safety in the top 100, I'm not going to complain. I have been begging for years for the Cowboys to invest in a safety. Is Johnson my ideal pick? No, not really. But I got a safety who can maybe be a free safety the top 100. I love that idea. So the Walker Little pick, I'm a little lukewarm on. The other 3, they're really good. So grade this for me. Grade this ESPN Dallas Cowboys mock draft. A, B, C, D, or F? How are you feeling about what the Cowboys put together here via this ESPN Todd McShay mock? A, B, C, D, or F? I'll give some shout-outs here as these flow in. I see, an F from Sally Boy right off the top there. C from Virus, B from Brandon, B from Joan, A- from Liam. I'd probably go A-, B+. I think somewhere in there makes sense. Like that's a good, pretty good haul in. Like I like those options there. Now we're about to get to the fan-led mock draft here, the other round 3 pick coming up. Before we do that, since we know so many of you don't tune in when the show immediately starts, Jaycee Horn was the pick in round 1. There was no Patrick Surtain. He was off the board. Carlos Basham in round 2. The safeties were off the board. And then in round 3, no Holland out of Oregon. Nick Bolton was the pick there. So, look, I know we are always limited in terms of what we're able to do with a simulator. But this is a hell of a start. Horn, Basham, and Bolton. So let's get to the comp pick then in round 3. A couple guys I like here. Now, I'm going to start with the safety, Talanoa Hufanga out of USC. Box safety. So just keep that in mind as the Cowboys search for a free safety. There's Deontay Brown out of Alabama. You can type in DB for him. Marlon, let me get the pronunciation before I say it out loud there. We'll come back to it. Tommy Togiai out of Ohio State, who I actually like quite a bit. There's also Brady Christensen from BYU. I like him. And then Marlon Tuipulotu, got it right that time, out of USC. So get your votes in here as many times as you want. TT for Tommy Togiai, BC for Braden Christensen, MT for Marlon Tuipulotu, DB for Deontay Brown, and then TH for Talanoa Hufanga, the safety out of USC. So apparently I'm being told by executive producer Brett there was a heavy run on wide receivers. Tylan Wallace, Tutu Atwell, Nico Collins all went off the board in between pick number 75, which was Nick Bolton, and pick number 99, which is currently on the board here right now. I will not spoil, but taint the votes here, if you will. I am intrigued by Tommy Togiai. I got him above Marlon Tuipulotu out of USC. He hasn't been the most productive guy, but to get a defense tackle in round 3, kind of like that one. All right, the pick is in from the fan-led mock draft. Round 3, pick number 99, Tommy Togiai, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. Again, 4 picks in a row. It's what I would have done had I been the only one making the decision from that perspective. So Togiai off the board here, pick number 99. I think he played about a 1-tech for Ohio State. He can stop the run decently. Length is an issue, but I think as a potential, maybe probably more of a 3-tech in the NFL, as a rotation, which was all you can hope to get out in pick 99, almost out to the top 100. It's a pretty good pick there by you guys picking for the Cowboys. Let's head back to some rumors here. How about the Cowboys drafting a quarterback? 2 stars on this one. I think it is possible. And it does come to us, by the way, from Stephen Jones himself. He floated this idea out there as a possibility, and he was asked about in terms of drafting a quarterback there. So I'm intrigued that this is the route the Cowboys are actually going to end up going. On one hand, it does make some sense because you look at the depth chart, the room for the Cowboys. It's not great. So 2 stars on this one here. The door, I believe, is open, and pretty much exactly what Stephen Jones said. Remember, they lost Andy Dalton in free agency. That leaves Garrett Gilbert and Ben DiNucci, and we saw the Cowboys draft DiNucci last year in round 7. I wonder if they're going to have the option, if they keep all their picks, to do something similar in the back end. Here's what Stephen Jones had to say. Certainly we'll keep our eye on drafting a quarterback just as we did with Dak when we had Romo, a guy who could make a lot of sense for us, could be there in the middle rounds. Now, they did send Kellen Moore to the Texas A&M Pro Day, by the way. Keep that one in mind there. There are 2 issues for me as it relates to the Cowboys in terms of adding a quarterback. A, you could get by with Garrett Gilbert as your backup. And regardless, if Dak gets hurt, you're in trouble. Like, that's the reality here of the situation for the Cowboys. If Dak goes down, your season's cooked. Like Gilbert, DiNucci, a fourth-round rookie, it's not going to be good enough. My other problem here is with the non-first-round quarterbacks, so Trevor Lawrence through Mac Jones. There's Davis Mills from Stanford, Kyle Trask from Florida, Kellen Mond from A&M, Jamie Newman from Wake Forest, and I guess kind of sort of Georgia, but also not really, and then Ian Book out of Notre Dame. I got Davis Mills, Kyle Trask in round 4. I got Kellen Mond round 4/5, and they might be gone in the top 100. And at that point, well, I'm not going to reach for Jamie Newman or Ian Book or the Texas kids, Ellinger and Buechele. Like, that doesn't really appeal to me all that much. It's a bad depth class at the quarterback position. So what do you guys think then? What will the Cowboys do? Will they draft a quarterback? Type in 1 for yes, they will, or type in 0 for no, they will not. Get your votes in for me in the comments section. Another news item to wrap things up here. We won't spend too much time on it, but I did want to mention it on the live show. Rashard Robinson suspended again by the NFL. Got docked 2 games to start the 2021 season, and it's actually the 3rd time in his rather young NFL career that Robinson's been suspended by the commissioner's office. The first 2 were for violating the substance abuse policy. This one was for a PED violation. Now, Robinson was pressed into duty last year because the cornerback room was injured, and he was not great. And frankly, he had a pretty uphill path to make the 53-man roster anyway. I got him behind guys like Maurice Canady. C.J. Goodwin's going to be on the team as a special teamer. I think Reggie Robinson would make the team over Rashard. So he's right down there at CB7 for me, and a rookie isn't even included yet. In the end, here's what I think will end up happening with Rashard. The Cowboys, while he is suspended, he does not count against the 53-man roster, and they do not have to pay him in terms of the salary cap either. There's suspended without pay in the end. So the Cowboys can carry him through those first 2 weeks of the suspension. And then if they don't need a cornerback, congrats, he's cut. And if they do need a cornerback, well, then maybe they can keep him on the team at that point. All right, so the fan-led mock draft, we are back. Here are the picks so far for those of you just now tuning in. Jaycee Horn with Surtain off the board in round 1. Carlos Basham, Nick Bolton in round 2, and on round 3, in light of the fact that there were no safeties on the board, unfortunately. And then Tommy Togiai, the defensive tackle out of Ohio State. He went off the board in round 3. So at pick 115 in the 4th round, and I think I know who you guys are going to take here. Here are your options. Andre Cisco out of Syracuse, the free safety, type in AC. Tyler Shelvin, who has taken fatties only too far, type in TS. Caden Stearns, the Texas kid, also a free safety, great athlete, type in CS. James Hudson, if we want to snap the defensive run here, you can type in JH. Kyle Trask is also on the board here in round 4. Type in KT here. We'll get your guys' votes in. AC, TS, CS, JH, or KT. Of the 2 safeties, I got Andre Cisco higher. Yes, he is inconsistent. Yes, he's boom or bust. He's made a lot more plays than Caden Stearns, who was great as a freshman and then kind of tailed off at that one. So we'll see. So get your votes in here. AC for Andre Cisco, TS for Tyler Shelvin, CS for Caden Stearns, JH. What's that? Pick is in. Not surprised here. Andre Cisco goes in round 4. So 5 straight defensive players here. We'll break it at some point by the Cowboys. Andre Cisco is the pick here. The rangy free safety who gives up plays but also makes a lot out of Syracuse as well. So that is the pick here in round 4 at pick 115 for the Dallas Cowboys. Now we're going to go to some live questions here, and we'll mix in the fan-led mock draft as well. So we'll get to the next pick here in round 4 in a little bit. But if you want to get on the show, 2 ways to do it. Number 1, use hashtag Cowboys. Number 2, you can either super chat. So go do that. Either use hashtag Cowboys or super chat right now in the comments section. We will get every super chat that came in there. So use hashtag Cowboys, or you guys can super chat if you want to get on the show today. Today's show is a mailbag made possible by the Newsbreak app. Chatsports.com/CowboysNB. Go download the Newsbreak app if you want all the best local news right to your phone and some Cowboys videos as well. That's chatsports.com/CowboysNB. Go download that app today, and I'll make sure links in the comments and the description as well. First up, a super chat from the actual CAP. If we take Jaycee Horn or Kwity Paye, I'm going to lose it. Kwity Paye, I agree with you. Jaycee Horn, I'm fine with that one. That one does not bother me if the Cowboys take him at number 10. From Yo Squiggly Man Games, is Revenge of the Sith the best Star Wars movie? If you think that, get out of the comment section. Absolutely not. It's the best of the prequels. Episode 3's fine, but it's not that good. Like, relative to the original 3. Come on, man. Getting my second Dak jersey. Already have the classic navy with stars on the shoulders. Now we're back on track, my friend. Thank you very much for that. I like the jersey, by the way. It's good. The stars on the shoulders, they're awesome. All right, from Dwayne Jackson. If Justin Fields falls past Carolina and drops to 10, and Surtain and possibly Sewell are there, another team calls with an offer. If you were the Cowboys, could you afford to pass on those two if they're rated number 1 on their board? If a team makes me a big enough offer, I would consider it. I think there would be a quarterback tax there of a team has to make you a major offer. Because if I trade down, let's say 15 or 20, probably going to lose both those guys. You got to make me a great offer beyond what the trade value chart says to get me to move down at that point. From Stephen McLean, could the Cowboys get Gilmore in a trade down to 15? If not, how much would they have to add? Well, I don't have a great feel for what Gilmore is in terms of like the value from that perspective. Like, I don't know if he's worth a second straight up. Is he worth a third? He's coming off the injury. Like, I don't have a great feel for what that's going to look like. So I think 10 for 15 in Gilmore is maybe about right, but I'm not sure Gilmore's going to end up getting dealt during this year's draft. If he does, we'll find out the cost then. From Connor Coopersmith, where would Jaycee Horn rank for corners in last year's cornerback class? So I have a round 1 grade on Jaycee Horn. The only other round 1 grade I had on corners last year was Jeffrey Okudah. I had a round 1.5 grade on Christian Fulton and CJ Henderson. So for me, it would go Jeffrey Okudah, Surtain, Jaycee Horn, then I was weird and had Christian Fulton super high. That's where I would rank Horn. So he'd be number 3, including last year's guys. From Turd Boy, if Gregory Rousseau and Barmore fall to 44, who will you take? Also, turn your hair back to pink. No, I don't want to dye my hair pink again. It was gross, and my wife didn't care for it very much. As for that, I'm going Barmore. I like Barmore more than I like Gregory Rousseau. Rousseau's fine for me at 44, but I got Barmore higher. I think he's going to offer more interior pass rushing value, which is Rousseau's best thing in the end. So from that perspective, I'm going to go Barmore over Rousseau at number 44. From Nicholas Curry, how mad would you be if the Cowboys took Jaycee Horn over Patrick Surtain? So as I'm sure most of you guys know, I have Patrick Surtain rated above Jaycee Horn on my big board, which does not factor in team stuff whatsoever, just for all 32 teams. And I would still take Surtain over Horn if I ran the Cowboys. But I would not be upset. I think Jaycee Horn is a really good football player. I like him a lot. He's going to be a top 15 player for me. So I would not be mad if the Cowboys took him. And one of the biggest reasons is this defense needs more attitude. They are not the hot boys. They were the soft boys the past 2 years. They were not tough, and it showed. Jaycee Horn is a dog in a good way. He is going to jaw with you. He's going to be physical. He will talk trash. If you want someone to help set the tone, adjust the culture a little bit on that side of the ball, Jaycee Horn makes sense there. So I'd be fine either way. I think the Cowboys have a very difficult path to messing up the number 10 overall pick, and I can say with some certainty they are horning in on a particular position in this year's draft. So get your votes in. Type S for Surtain or type H for Jaycee Horn. Which corner would you guys rather have? Get your votes in for me. S for Surtain, H for Horn. This is the pinned comment, by the way, on today's video. So we get the ad break here on YouTube. Get your votes in. S for Surtain, H for Horn. All right, let's revisit then the fan-led mock draft as we currently sit, as these S's and H's flow in. Jaycee Horn actually was the pick in round 1 in large part because, the Surtain was already off the board at this pick. Carlos Basham went in round 2 along with Nick Bolton, and then Tommy Togiai in round 3, and then Andre Cisco in round 4. So we have gone defense, 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 and defense again so far in this NFL mock draft for the Dallas Cowboys. So now we're going to get to round 4, pick number 138, and I wonder which route you guys will go here. The defensive needs are being filled. So we got a lot of offensive guys here. Khalil Herbert, the running back from Virginia Tech, it's about the right range for him. Keith Taylor out of Washington, if you want to double dip at corner. Jalen Darden, the North Texas receiver. Producer Jeremy is a huge North Texas homer, so he wants him. Anthony Schwartz out of Auburn. I'll break down those two in a second. And also Jalen Moore, who I have a round 4 grade on out of Western Michigan, if you want to try and find a developmental left tackle behind Tyron Smith. Oh, I'm sure we'll have plenty of JD votes in here out of North Texas here. This is just me personally. I got Jalen Darden over Anthony Schwartz, and I'm not as high on Schwartz as other people are. Mostly because Anthony Schwartz is just fast. Like, he's the fastest player in this year's draft. He was not a good vertical threat at Auburn. Part usage, part, I think, ball tracking, also part that Bo Nix sucks. And he wasn't even a return man. So if you want a receiver to bring you some return ability, I'd go Jalen Darden on that one here. Producer Brett, there's a comment asking about Spencer Brown. I see it, Peyton. Peyton Brown wants to know about Spencer Brown. He's been gone since pick 63, which I find very believable. So unfortunately, Peyton, you can't get Spencer Brown. He is long gone at this point. He is off the board. He is not available for the Dallas Cowboys here at the back end of the 4th round. Get your votes in again here. One last call to action. KH, KT, JD, AS, or JM. Khalil Herbert, Keith Taylor, Jalen Darden, Anthony Schwartz, or Jalen Moore out of Western Michigan. Pick is in here. Jalen Moore is the winner. Producer Jeremy is in shambles that Jalen Darden was not the selection. So I finished my eval of all the linemen, by the way. I got a 4th round grade on Jalen Moore. In my notes, I have written down, outside the top 100, a sleeper. Doesn't have great power, but he moves pretty well, which you're looking for in a left tackle. If you can give him some time, add some more power, add some more weight, that might be a good fit for the Cowboys. So our first offensive player, Jalen Moore, out of Western Michigan. From Will Marshall, PS2 at 10, and then Hayward in free agency, the cornerback. The Cowboys won't do both. I understand the desire to add Casey Hayward, but you're going to start Trevon Diggs on the outside. You have 2 nickel options in Anthony Brown and Jordan Lewis. So I don't think the Cowboys would spend big on both a free agent corner and the number 10 overall pick. If they pass on Surtain or Horn at 10, maybe Hayward makes more sense at that point. From Henry Nutch, I know our linebacking core isn't perfect, but how do you have it ahead of defensive tackle as a need when they couldn't stop practice squad running backs from running all over us? They are both needs. And yes, I have linebacker just ahead of defensive line from that perspective. But the Cowboys did bring in Brett Urban, and they got 4 guys who could make your roster and be core rotation players as things currently sit. At linebacker, you have 3. You have 3 guys who have played NFL snaps. You got 5 at defensive tackle already. So purely from filling out your roster, linebacker takes a little bit more priority from that perspective. And that's including Keanu Neal as a linebacker, by the way. So in terms of getting instant impact help, they're about equal. Linebacker got the edge because the depth is sorely just not there right now for the Dallas Cowboys. From DC Forever, who was the safest offensive pick in the first round for the Cowboys? The only two offensive picks, really, I think, is Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater, because I don't think that Kyle Pitts is going to be there for Dallas. All right, from Grayson Pitts, thoughts on Paris Ford, the safety from Pitt. Undraftable. Tested just absolutely terribly at his pro day. It is, look, if you're going to opt out in the middle of your college football season and you're going to be like, yeah, I'm just going to go pro, okay, I get that. I understand it. And then if you're going to show up to your pro day, and allegedly from what I've heard from NFL media people out there in terms of what was going on, if you're going to show up and do spins as you cross the line to do your short shuttle and not take it seriously, and run a 4.85 40 at under 200 pounds, I'm not drafting you. The film wasn't that good. I don't think he should be drafted by the Cowboys, period. Now, today's show, hey, you know what? Little fun fact for you guys. We are on the Newsbreak app now. Go download it at chatsports.com/CowboysNB. Search the Cowboys Report and then follow us for videos sent directly to your phone. Now, of course, the purpose of the Newsbreak app is to get news sent to your phone and be in the know with what's actually going on as it relates to local news in your community, because I am not very good with that because I have a nice little sports bubble, but the Newsbreak app helps me break out of it. Go download the app today at chatsports.com/CowboysNB. That link will be in the comments section and in the description. And when you download the app using that link, you help support the show as well. So go get it. chatsports.com/CowboysNB. Download that app today. From Dwayne Jackson, what other name, not Michael Gallup, how about Michael Gallup with a U? Kidding, buddy. Could possibly get traded on draft night? Dark horse would be like maybe an Anthony Brown, maybe a Terrence Steele or a Brandon Knight, Dorrance Armstrong, but I think all of those guys are a little bit more likely to go off the board to be traded like around roster cut times. I don't think you're going to see them get dealt during the NFL draft. From Chris Hughes, thoughts on Caden Stern. I was hyped about him in his freshman year. 62 tackles, started every game, was a true freshman. He was all Big 12 first team as a true freshman. He broke up 4 passes, picked off 4 more. Since then, in more games started, he's broken up a grand total of 4 passes with 1 interception. He's not been the same guy since he was a freshman. He's a great athlete, but he peaked as a true freshman. He's been not great the past 2 years. So you want to gamble on him mid to late day 3? Okay, but not before then. From Alfredo Rodriguez, last year, I remember Jerry saying he wanted to go edge rusher in last year's draft, Caleb Chasen, but CeeDee Lamb fell to us. What do you think about Jalen Phillips if they trade down? If they move down, I would consider Phillips pretty heavily. I don't know where he's going to go. The concussion, the music thing are potential red flags, especially the concussion side of it. So if you move down or move back up, as we broke down on this channel, make sure you're subscribed to Alfredo with notifications turned on so you don't miss those vids going forward. We'll see what ends up happening there. But I would not mind Phillips as a trade down or trade up target. All right, a lot of picks have gone off the board here in between these selections. So round 5, pick number 179 is where we're at right now. Jalen Moore was the last one. Some interesting names are here. Marvin Wilson has fallen to the back end of round 5. I'm intrigued by that one. Zech McPherson, kind of a nickel corner from Texas Tech, is there. Kylan Hill out of Mississippi State, if you guys want a running back, he's there. Sage Surratt and Daz Newsome, 2 very different receivers. Surratt is an outside possession guy. Daz Newsome is an inside slot receiver. So get your votes in here. Who are you picking? Type MW for Marvin Wilson. Type ZM for Zech McPherson. Type KH for Kylan Hill. Type SS for Sage Surratt, that's Chaz's brother. And then DN for Daz Newsome as well. So get your votes in here. MW, ZM, KH, SS, and DN for Daz Newsome. Get your votes in right now. Who you're picking. I'm told we have that pick in. We do. Marvin Wilson out of Florida State. If you had told me at the beginning of this season, hey, Tom, Marvin Wilson's going to be there in the 5th round for you, I would have went, no, you're insane. Go live in reality, not some delusional fantasy world. Here we are, in which Marvin Wilson was bad. He was bad last year for Florida State after being great his first 2 years. There are legitimate medical concerns as well around Marvin Wilson. I don't want him in round 2 or round 3. If I can get him in round 5, let's ride. I love that one as a potential one technique. And now my defensive tackle room with both Tommy Togiai and Marvin Wilson is in fantastic shape moving forward. Today's Cowboys Mailbag is presented by Manscaped. When you go to manscaped.com/chat, you will get 20% off and free shipping on all of their fantastic men's grooming products. Question from Brandon Smith. What prospect do you think the Cowboys will be willing to move back up into the first round for? So Brandon, rather than me giving you a quick little 30-second blurb, I did a full video on that on the Cowboys Report. It went out on Wednesday, so go check it out. It's trade up targets for the Cowboys. I got 5 different names for you there. From Sam11, thoughts about this trade, our 1st and 3rd for Danielle Hunter and the Vikings' first-round pick. I think Minnesota says no, because Danielle Hunter, when healthy, is a top 10 edge. To move up 4 spots and get a 3rd for Danielle Hunter is a bad trade for Minnesota. If they're going to do it, it's because he's not healthy, and at that point, I don't want it if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. Alfredo Rodriguez. Last year, we actually did this one earlier, so we'll skip that one here in terms of that. Twine Cole, where does Caleb Farley go? It's a great question. I don't have a great feel for what Farley his draft range ends up being. It could be mid to late round 1. It could be day 2, mid to late day 2. His draft range is pretty darn strange out there in terms of potential options for the Dallas Cowboys, or just probably in general in terms of where you could end up going. We did this question earlier from Brandon, so we'll get a different one as well in terms of the live chat right now. From Jimmy, would you trade up for Trevon Merrick if he's still available in the 2nd round? I would consider it. If he's there at pick 35, 36, I'm working the phones trying to go get him. I think the Cowboys could be as well, though I don't think he's going to be there. From Christian, how do you feel about Marco Wilson? I know he had a rough season last year, but he has a lot of potential. Yeah, this is Marco Wilson, the shoe thrower against LSU that cost his team a game. Look, he's been a 4-year starter for Florida. That's rare as a true freshman. But 3 career interceptions, all coming in 2019. There's some medical evaluation stuff that has to get cleared as well. Early to mid, day 3, probably his range. I don't mind gambling there. Earlier than that, though, that's too much of a risk for me. From Jeremy Chuggs, should the Cowboys draft Chase, Waddle, or Smith if they are there at number 10 and then trade Michael Gallup? Always get one of those right. I mean, I'm open to the idea. If you're picked over defensively, like if Jaycee Horn and Surtain are both gone and Pitts is gone and Sewell and Slater are gone, I'm like, okay, we can have that conversation. I'd actually be most intrigued by Jalen Waddle so I can get some more speed on the field. But also, trading Gallup is a future problem. I can deal with that later. He's a good receiver right now. I'm going to try and fix my defense without creating a need at receiver. So pick one for me. Which one would you guys rather have on the Cowboys? Type DS for Devonta Smith. Type JW for Jalen Waddle. Type JC for Michael Gallup, or for Jamar Chase, or type in MG for Michael Gallup. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's mailbag. So if you get the ad break here on YouTube, scroll on down and get your votes in. Pick a receiver, DS, JC, JW, or MG. Now, we got daily Cowboys videos here for you guys on the Dallas Cowboys Report. So if you want them, hit that big red button and subscribe. That way you don't miss out on anything going on around America's team. Join us, videos every single day. All right, back to the fan-led mock draft here, folks. Round 6, pick number 192. Trevon Grimes is on the board. Highly athletic Jimmy Morrissey is on the board as a potential center option out of Pitt. Kylan Hill and Daz Newsome are both still on the board for the Dallas Cowboys, along with Greg Eland out of Mississippi State, a big kind of versatile offensive lineman there. Kind of intrigued by Daz Newsome. I've mocked Trevon Grimes to the Cowboys in the past as well. Producer Brett liking Kylan Hill as well out there as a running back option. Yeah, Producer Brett says, you guys hate Zeke, you might as well draft him there. Yeah, we'll see about that one there. So get your votes in. TG, JM, KH, GE, or DN for Daz Newsome. Get your votes in here as I'll give you guys some time to flood the comment section as it relates on that one in terms of who you guys want. We are in round 6. We have taken one offensive player. That is it. We've taken only one offensive player. That was Jalen Moore out of West Michigan. We've taken 2 defensive tackles, a linebacker, which we could double dip in later on, a safety, a cornerback as well. It's been a unsurprisingly defensive-heavy focused mock draft here for the Dallas Cowboys. So keep those votes coming. I'm told we have a winner here. Is that correct? All right, the winner is Daz Newsome, the wide receiver out of North Carolina. A slot receiver, could be your potential Michael Gallup replacement down the line. He is not as good as his teammate De'Ami Brown is. He does, however, offer punt return value. So if you want to stop putting CeeDee Lamb back there, Newsome certainly makes some sense. From Alexander Forte, would you double, a super chat by the way, would you double dip at corner if Farley is still on the board in round 3? If Farley's there in the 3rd round, it means he flunked his medical. Like, that's what that means. So I don't know if I do it in round 3. Talent-wise, yes, but the reality actually makes me less inclined to do it. Joey Drada says, Mike Fisher says the Cowboys have Slater and Surtain on the same level. If we take Slater when Surtain is on the board, everything in my sight is immediately destroyed. I'm not going to go that far. Like, I would take Surtain over Slater as well, and I did a video on that already. We'll see what the Cowboys end up doing. As a betting man, I think they're going to end up going cornerback when it's all said and done, be it Surtain or even Jaycee Horn. From Corey, would you pass on, wow, voice to text got a rye there, Sewell or Slater to swap with the Chargers or Pages at 15? Are both corners gone? Because if they're both there and somehow both Sewell and Slater are there, sure, let's do it. My concern is even moving down to 13. The Giants might take one of those offensive linemen and the Eagles might take one of those corners. And that could put me in a really dangerous spot in terms of trading away from the best players on your board. From Apex the Dragon, if we trade down to 15 or 20 range, would you rather draft Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Parsons, or Newsome, or somebody else? My just board based purely on talent, it's actually in that order. Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah, Parsons, then Newsome. I might lean Newsome over Parsons because of the positional value. I'm a big Jeremiah Owusu-Koramoah fan, so a little tough for me to say I don't want him if they were to trade down. He'd be a logical trade-down target for me if I were the Dallas Cowboys. Today's show is made possible by Manscaped. Head over to manscaped.com/chat. You'll get 20% off and free shipping on all their fantastic men's grooming products. When you use that URL you see at the bottom of your screen, manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping, all available today with that URL. So go check it out. That link will be in the comment section and in the description. Manscaped.com/chat. 20% off and free shipping, only available with that URL. So go do it today and trim that unwanted hair down there that, let's be honest, guys, nobody wants to have in their life. Don't give up on it yet. Take care of it by using Manscaped. From Dre, if we trade back into the first, who would you take? I'd be looking at either, Trevon Merrick out of TCU or maybe a Christian Barmore or Jalen Phillips if they're on the board. I'd like to the next question here from JGL Reed. Would you pick Tutu Atwell with his weight, and in what round? So Atwell is under 150 pounds. It's incredible to me. That dude is smaller than I am as a football player. I've got like a 4th, 5th round grade on him. Like, I'm pretty concerned on that front. I don't know if I take him. He's so small, and that really does terrify me. And he lost weight after his pro day. God, I take him outside the top 100. I've seen round 2 buzz from him. That does not intrigue me whatsoever. From Gary Gammon, Tony Poligan as a red zone prospect in the 7th round. I got a 6th round grade on him, so that's about the right spot. The issue is, I don't know if he makes the team. You have 4 tight ends who have been on an NFL team last year, so might not be your biggest need, but round 7, sure, you've got all kinds of free picks to play with in the latter part of day 3. So if you want to take Tony Poligan in the 7th round, I am on board with that at that point. Now, do you guys trust the front office? Get your votes in for me. Why for yes you do, and for no you don't. Do you have faith in them making the correct decisions? Get your votes in for me right now in the comment section. Type Y for yes or type in N for no. Do you guys trust the Dallas Cowboys front office? From Mariners fans, should the Cowboys trade down for Trevon Merrick? If you're picked over in round 1, your corners, your linemen are all gone, which I doubt happens, I'd be open to it. I would actually be more intrigued by a move up into the back end of round 1 to get a safety as well than I would be just purely trading down in the first round and taking a safety, because you go down like the 20s if you wanted to take Trevon Merrick at that point. All right, fan-led mock draft time, round 6, pick number 227. Some top players on the board. Errol Thompson out of Mississippi State. Israel Mukuamu, a lanky safety cornerback hybrid out of South Carolina. Jack Anderson out of Texas Tech. Greg Elan's still there. And then one of the best special teams players this year, Avery Williams out of Boise State. Get your votes in there. For those of you just now tuning in, here were the previous picks. Jaycee Horn in round 1 with Patrick Surtain off the board. Carlos Basham in round 2. Nick Bolton in round 3. Tommy Togiai in round 3 as well. And then Andre Cisco, 5 straight defensive players for the first 5 picks. And then some defensive players here. We'll get the right photo for Marvin Wilson in there. Jalen Moore out of Western Michigan. Marvin Wilson out of Florida State. Some great value at that point. And then most recently, Daz Newsome. So at pick number 227, here are the top 5 guys on the board. There's Jack Anderson, type in GA, offense lineman from Texas Tech. Errol Thompson out of Mississippi State. Israel Mukuamu out of South Carolina, really fits the Dan Quinn mold, but is he a corner to safety? I don't know. Greg Eland, also from the Bulldogs. And then the resident Boise State pick for the Cowboys, who I actually love the idea here. Avery Williams out of Boise State. I'll give some plugs on him here because I am intrigued by him. Now, he's not going to help you much as an actual defensive player. That's just not his thing, though. But in terms of pure special teamers, this is the guy. Has been a long-time coverage guy. He's got multiple blocked kicks, 4 in total, and he has 9 special teams touchdowns, be it returns or blocked kicks altogether. So I'm intrigued there by Avery Williamson. However, you guys, I'm told the picks are in, went in a different direction. Israel Mukwamu is the pick here out of South Carolina. He's kind of a safety corner hybrid. Like both of those things he's played at South Carolina. Maybe it could be an outside press man corner. Maybe it could be a free safety. He's pretty big, 6'4", 212. Long arms, 34 inches. Some decent ball production as well. Just kind of a tweener in that area. But pick 227, good value there for the Dallas Cowboys as it relates from that perspective. Now, folks, we will be live for the entirety of the 2021 NFL Draft on our Chat Sports YouTube channel. Subscribe, the link there, right there, bottom of your screen. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. We'll be live for every single pick, so join us for all the picks, including the Dallas Cowboys ones. Alan Williams, what are your thoughts on Tadaro Slayton out of Florida? Defense, that was a super chat, by the way. Dallas needs a big, mean one technique to play besides Gallimore. What do you think? You know, if you want to take him mid to late day 3, I have a 6th to 7th round grade on him. Sure. Weight has been an issue. He ballooned at one point to 380 pounds at Florida. That's a red flag there. He doesn't offer me anything in terms of pass rush, but if you just want a run clogger late on day 3, that could be one of your guys. Dwayne Jackson, another super chat. How many trades, or over under, will the Cowboys make between rounds 1 and 6? I say 4. Take the over or the under. I'm going to go under. I don't think they'll use all 10 picks, but I think it might be more like 3 or so. I think the ideal over-under is going to be like 3.5. You could maybe talk me in to 2.5 instead. From Skeptical Fan, how many games will the Dallas Cowboys win? We have it's a good question here. Remember, 17 games this year for the Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to set the over-under somewhere at like 10 or 11. I think that's a pretty realistic goal here for the Cowboys with Dak Prescott back and, in theory, plenty of defensive help coming in the not-too-distant future for the Dallas Cowboys. So great question from Skeptical Fan. So get your votes in for me. How many games, and just, actually, you know what, let's do this. Predict the Cowboys mark straight up. Remember, 17 games this year, not just 16. So add the 1 to your 10-6 or whatever. Maybe it's 11-6. Get your votes in for me. What will be the Cowboys' record in 2021? From Apex the Dragon, in a perfect world, who would you want to stay with your first 4 picks? Patrick Surtain, Richie Grant. Can I get Nick Bolton in round 3? Maybe, maybe not. Can I get Bobby Brown back into round 3? I take care of all 4 levels of defense. Maybe an edge rusher thrown in there. A Basham. Peyton Turner in round 3, and I'll take a linebacker randomly in round 4. That would be my ideal pick. Quick super chat here from DeLunatic. Go Cowboys, DC for life. Thank you very much, my friend, for that super. Liam Carroll, how do you feel about Asante Samuel Jr.? I like him. I'm a big fan of his. Now, he is undersized, and that is going to cause problems. And some teams will want him as a nickel. The Cowboys would not take him as an outside corner. It does not fit their size general goals. But if I want to play some zone, I like him quite a bit from that perspective. So I would be intrigued by that one if I were the Dallas Cowboys. All right, from Henry, what are your edge rusher rankings? They might change again because I'm a coward. Jalen Phillips, Azeez Ojulari, Kwity Paye, I'm bold here, Ronnie Perkins, Peyton Turner, Carlos Basham, and Gregory Rousseau all have round 2 grades for me in that order right now. Joe Tryon, Joseph Asai, Jason Owe have round 2/round 3 grades. Super chat from Elijah Williams. Thoughts on Aleem McNeil in the 2nd? It is a little bit rich for me at pick number 44. But I think in the end he ends up going between the Cowboys' round 2 pick and they're round 3 one. So if I want him, I feel like I'd have to end up taking him in the second round, and I'm not sure that's the route I really want to end up going. Question from Lavender Gooms. Where do you watch the NFL Draft? Good question. I used to watch it on the failing ESPN. I don't watch the NFL Draft anymore, though. Now I do the NFL Draft. And if you want the picks in before the major networks have them, and if you want actual conversation and discussion and input and analysis on the day 3 guys, subscribe to our Chat Sports YouTube channel. YouTube.com/ChatSportsTV. Subscribe today for the best NFL draft coverage live on YouTube. The final fan-led mock draft pick is here. There's linebacker Errol Thompson from the Bulldogs. Jalen Camp, a athletic but more of a special teams guy at receiver from Georgia Tech. Malcolm Kuntz out of Buffalo, who, by the way, Mel Kiper absolutely loves him, and I think in between them is where he's going to end up going. Great value here for him, by the way. Demidor Lenore from Oregon, and then Ian Book, the quarterback from Notre Dame. Do you want a backup option in there? IB for Ian Book, DL for Demidor Lenore, MK for Malcolm Kuntz, JC for Jalen Camp, and ET for Errol Thompson. So of these guys, I've got Kuntz rated the highest as a round 4 player. Sub-package edge rusher. Maybe I'm higher on him than PFN is, clearly. Ian Book, though, as a backup quarterback, I'm kind of intrigued by it. Errol Thompson is another linebacker if you want some depth. He's been on here for a little bit, so I don't mind that one. I think it's about the right range for him. Not great in coverage, but as a thumper, there is some value there. Lenore is kind of a special teams depth guy. Is the pick in here? We have it? Yeah. It's going Ian Book at the back end of round 7. So the Cowboys find a potential backup quarterback, which is what I think Ian Book is going to be in the NFL. Like, that's what I think he's going to be limited as. He's going to be a backup quarterback, not a whole lot more from that perspective. But round 7, yeah, that's a pretty good pick for him at that point. So let's recap then. The picks made by you guys, live on Facebook, live on YouTube. Jaycee Horn, round 1, no Patrick Surtain. Carlos Basham in round 2, the edge rusher. Nick Bolton in round 3. Tommy Togiai also in the 3rd round. Defense again, Andre Sisco out of Syracuse. Those are your first 5 picks. Here are the next 5 picks. Jalen Moore, the offensive tackle from Western Michigan. Marvin Wilson from Florida State, great value there. Daz Newsome, a potential depth punt return guy for UNC. Israel Mukwamu in round 6 as well. Ian Book in round 7. That was your Cowboys fan-led mock draft. And oh, by the way, we'll do a full video breakdown on that one coming up later on this week. From Dwayne Jackson, with the new 17-game schedule, with the NFC East being terrible, can 10-7 win the division? I think so. Eagles are not going to be good. I don't believe in Daniel Jones. And even last year, with not great quarterback play, Washington wasn't that close to being a 500 team, or being a 10-win team, So I think it's possible. I'd like to win 11, though, and feel better about my chances there. From JGL Reed, which prospect has the biggest red flags this year? Obviously, guys with major medical issues jump out to you, so Caleb Farley's back. The biggest one for me, as far as I'm concerned, is Josh Bell out of Marshall, who's a very good tackle with domestic violence issues at Florida State. I don't want to take that guy, period. So pure talent, that guy's like a top 100 guy, or at least borderline top 100 guy. With it, I don't think he should be drafted, period, on that one. So we'll see on that front there. Other guys with off-the-field concern as it relates to this year's NFL draft. Micah Parsons has some stuff there as well. They're mostly injury guys this year. I will make note, Terrace Marshall, the LSU receiver, had something pop up at the medical checks at Indianapolis. He could fall out of round 1 now. From Dre Z87, Ian Book, future Tom Brady. No, he's not. First off, there will never be another Tom Brady. Never going to happen. Second off, it's not going to be Ian Book. He's not that good, guys. All right? Stop it. That's not going to happen there on that front. So, Drazy, I appreciate that question, but no, I'm not buying that one whatsoever. So, he's going to be a backup quarterback. That's going to be his role in the NFL. Gene Smash, if Pitts is an option, why not just get Jamar Chase? Well, A, I've got Kyle Pitts above Chase in this year's draft. B, you can utilize the mismatched tight end easier with this roster as constructed than drafting Jamar Chase and having to trade a starter away in Gallup just to get him on the field. Pitts comes in, he starts over Blake Jarwin and Dalton Schultz. Chase comes in, without Gallup, you're sitting somebody too good. So I get the mindset there. I think it's easier to utilize Pitts with no trade, even though you still want to trade somebody, than it is with just Chase and Gallup on the field. From Gary, what round grade for Charles Snowden? Great question. I gave Snowden a 4th round grade. He is a tweener. Is he an edge? Is he a linebacker? I'm not really sure. Can you do a little bit of both? Maybe. I think outside top 100, that's the right spot for him. Speaking of draft, who do you not want the Dallas Cowboys to take in this year's NFL draft? Get your votes in for me right now in the comments section. Which players are you trying to avoid if you are the Dallas Cowboys? From Braden Hurley, chances Gregory Rousseau falls to us in the 2nd round. Possible. I don't know if it's much of a slide relative to his talent. He's not the best prospect. I have a round 2 grade on him. If he's there at 44, I bet there will be an edge higher on my board than Rousseau at that point. From Samuel McDonald, thoughts on Cameron Bynum and Trey Gowan. So, Gowan intrigues me. Lengthy, I think, 1 year only, but productive. Like, that makes sense to me. As for Cameron Bynum, I'm going to have Gowan ahead of him, but, again, not as long as Tay Gowan is, and that might be a problem for this Dallas Cowboys team. From Aaron Housley, I've seen a couple media people say Jaycee Horn can't play in a Dan Quinn defense. Do you agree? Absolutely not. I think Horn is going to be at his best in man-to-man coverage, but a cover 3 heavy defense is not that different than a man-heavy defense. You're still doing a lot of vertical stuff there. So I think Horn fits plenty well in the Dan Quinn defense. If you guys have not already, go subscribe to the Chat Sports YouTube channel. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. The link right there, bottom of your screen. It'll be in the comments and the description as well. We will have all 7 rounds of the 2021 NFL Draft. So if you haven't already, go subscribe. It's youtube.com/chatsportstv. Join us for every single pick in this year's 2021 NFL Draft. I did want to recap this again for you guys here a little bit quicker. The fan-led mock draft results. Jaycee Horn, round 1, pick number 10. Carlos Basham, round 2, pick number 44. Nick Bolton, round 3, number 75. Tommy Togiai, also in round 3. Andre Cisco in round 4. A first offensive player there, Jalen Moore in round 4. Marvin Wilson slid to round 5, great value there. Daz Newsome in round 6. Israel Mukwamu in round 6 as well. And then Ian Book in round 7. Andres says grade the fan mock draft. You guys can get your votes in right now. A, B, C, D, or F. I liked it. I mean, it's not like the most ideal outcome, which I would argue would be Patrick Surtain, but I love Nick Bolton in round 3. You got Cisco in round 4. 2 good defensive tackles. I like it. I'm going to give it like an A-, B+. If the Cowboys left the draft with that haul, I would be very happy as a Cowboys fan. Now, the Cowboys Report, of course, is live 4 p.m. Eastern on Thursdays. Not this upcoming Thursday. There's this thing called the NFL Draft. Keep that in mind. But we are live on Thursday, so subscribe if you have not already. Now, in most cases, we loop the show. And because we did the fan-led mock draft, not going to be put on loop today, but we appreciate everyone who tuned in to today's live Dallas Cowboys Report.